Greetings and good evening, and welcome to the roundtable, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. Bonsoir, comment ça va? I am Drew, and welcome to week 13 and 14 of the NFL and the NCAA, respectively. This recap show is going to be fire, ladies and gentlemen, because every game that we're going to be talking about is going to have a playoff impact at the game level that it just happened, setting up the next game going into this upcoming weekend if you are an NFL team or a conference championship if you are on the NCAA level. And of course, I'm going to talk about those Tigers from LSU and our new head coach and what this means not only for LSU, but the entire SEC and NCAA in 2026 and beyond, and how the new college coaching landscape is filling out with all of these new hires here over the past couple of days. At the very top of the show, heartfelt thank you and welcome to the entire roundtable audience. Thank you for joining us on whatever platform that you are joining us on tonight as we engage in a recap of this past weekend's action in the NFL and the NCAA. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the conversation that you're getting ready to have with us over the next hour or so. And I cannot wait to get into this conversation. Griff, how are we doing on this fine first Tuesday of December 2020?
Hey man, doing good, man. Again, had a great weekend as always. You know, Thanksgiving was last week. We talked about my Cowboys winning on that Thursday. Then Alabama went on and gave me had my blood pressure up a little bit, but they went on, got that W. Grandbaby just arrived, man. So you know, God is good on this end, man. Looking forward. We got Troy back, so I already know the show gonna be live. My boy was gone last week, but we got him back now. He already on here talking about his Raiders, man. Ready to talk some football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back, Troy. We're glad that you made it off of that water. Hopefully, you enjoyed your cruise and your time off and your time away in whatever capacity that you spent it. Glad that you're back and rejuvenated. And for the rest of the roundtable audience, looking forward to this conversation. So, we talked about a lot of games this past weekend that were make it or break it games for a lot of teams because a lot of teams are sitting at that 5-5, 6-5, 7-5, 8-4 mark, where they're all jockeying for playoff position. If you are not a division leader, you are coveting one of those three remaining wildcard spots. And with a plethora of teams sitting at 8-4, 7-5, each one of these games were going to be critical. Let us begin in the AFC South, Griff. The Houston Texans, one of the hottest teams in the NFL over the past calendar month, with a backup quarterback, mind you, because their starting quarterback was sitting on the sideline nursing an injury, traveled up to the division-leading Indianapolis Colts, who were coming off of their own skid as of late, right? Danny Dimes showing his ugly head and tucking away Indiana Jones. Houston was looking to have that number one defense travel to Indy and to slow down, possibly shut down Jonathan Taylor, and ensure that the Danny Dimes that we've all come to know and love was on front stage Sunday afternoon because they were going to apply that pressure that D'Amico Ryan loves to bring. We talked about this game on Friday night, and we mentioned that for Houston to go up to Indy was to ensure that that defense traveled, create a turnover, or to apply pressure to Daniel Jones, and to shut down or to slow down Jonathan Taylor. How surprised are you? Because if I recall correctly, you picked the home team on this one. How surprised are you? Are the Houston Texans that the Houston Texans are still scrapping for a wild card position, quite possibly outside shot at winning the division now that they have a leg up on Indy? How surprised are you at Houston, and how disappointed are you that the Indianapolis Colts are coming back down to earth?
I would say this one. We talk about every week. You know, defense win championships, and that's what the Texans got going on for them right now. They got an awesome defense. I would tell you, man, I ain't finna beat Danny Dimes up because he didn't have a bad game. If you ask me, they had some turnovers. The big factor in this game, and what I talked about on Friday was being able to contain Taylor. That's That was the difference making this game. And then the Texans also had a running game that actually showed up. This is the first
Mhm.
time they was able to actually, between the two running backs, between Chubbs and Marks, able to accumulate over 100 yards rushing, which gave them the time of possession advantage. When I looked at it, the Colts' problem was they couldn't convert on third down, and then they had 2 4th downs that they didn't convert in. Fumbled the ball on the goal line, and then special teams, man. The Texas offense still for me is not that great. They still don't have, other than Nico Collins, they still don't have that guy or girl that I feel is dominant. So what's gonna have to keep them in the fight is their defense, which we know what their defense got with Will Anderson and Stingley and those guys over there. But Danny Dimes didn't have that bad of a game. Yes, he was pressured or whatever, but I still seen some nice catches. Passes thrown by him. And that was my take from the game. That's my takeaway from the game.
I understand that, man. And your hesitancy as it pertains to the Houston Texans offense is, well, you kind of highlighted their path forward. A solid run game where you are applying that dual-headed monster in, if Chubb can stay healthy, right? And then Nico Collins on the outside, and then a healthy CJ Stroud with a dependable tight end in Schultz. The Houston Texans have the formula to play ball keep away from their opponents. We play game control ball on offense where it is a slight mixture of run and pass. We're not looking to score 35 to 40 points because our offense doesn't need to score 35 and 40 points because why? We have the number one ranked defense in the National Football League who can consistently give you 16 points or less, no matter the opponent. They've shown it over the past calendar month. Obviously, their season is just another playoff game this upcoming weekend against the Chiefs, but they have the formula to have the team to make a deep run, that dark horse, so to speak, in the playoffs if they can stay healthy. That offense continues to chunk up yards and consume time to keep that opposing offense off of the field, no matter who the quarterback is. The defense is going to do what the defense is going to do, which is going to give you a couple of sacks, which is going to create a turnover or two, strip fumble, sack fumble, interception, pick six, block punt, you name it. The defense can almost be counted upon to give you at least 6 to 8 points per game. That's all Houston needs. Watch out for these Texans, man. I'm telling you, they are on the rise. Kansas City's season may officially come to an end this upcoming weekend because they're playing a hot Houston Texans team, but we'll talk about that game a little later and on Friday.
I know we got that game coming up. I can't believe you abandoning your boy Patrick Mahomes like that
I
already.
said might. I said their season might come to an end this weekend. Houston, if you remember, always gives Kansas City the business, whether it's regular season or playoffs. They always go down to the wire against these very same Chiefs. Every year that Patrick Mahomes has made it to the Super Bowl, he's had to go on through the Houston Texans and he's had to earn that dub. So you might be shocked with how I picked this game later on Friday night.
All righty.
Man, this was the one right here, Griff. You kind of called it. You said there was a formula. We all agree, everybody in the chat, that the Los Angeles Rams are one of the top 2 teams in the National Football League. At least we're going into Sunday. So no one other than a true Panthers fan, and even those who are betting their own money, went with the Rams. But that run game and the Alabama resembling Bryce Young, they have something cooking over there in Charlotte, man. Can they make a run and actually make it to the playoffs and win the NFC South? I know you mentioned it a couple of weeks, but you did not give them this win. This is a win they earned.
Hey, when I said in this game, I said in order for them to win this game, they had to be able to run the ball and turnovers. Turnovers was going to be a factor, and turnovers was a factor in this game. Mm-hmm. They was able to control the clock. Being able to run the ball, they had the ball at least 11 minutes longer than the Rams did. Stafford was definitely uncharacteristic Stafford. He threw the interception in the daggone end zone, and then he threw the pick six. At times that it didn't need to happen. And I think they also had a fumble like right at the end of the game where Carolina was able to just run the clock out or whatever. So I like the defense. Bryce Young, I've been telling people for years they can say what they want. A lot of Panther fans didn't want Bryce. I said you get him the right players around, which they got one of their receivers back this week too. Croker, that dude had an outstanding game. The defense is awesome. They have the recipe, especially being in the NFC South. Like I said, I don't want to beat your division. I don't want to beat your division up, man. But hey, they definitely have a path to the playoffs by being in the NFC South.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, man. For the past 5 years, I've talked about the Carolina Panthers like they were an afterthought. But in 2025, they just might be the cream of the crop in the NFC South, resembling what Cam once was in Charlotte. We just may see some more surprises from this very same team coming up here in the next few weeks. But again, their path is in their control because they play NFC South teams upcoming. So for them to make it to the playoffs and to host a playoff game, it's in your control, Carolina. Nobody else but your own. So the Rams, they'll be all right. Like you said, the multiple turnovers, the pick six from Matthew Stafford throwing a second interception on two interceptions, 2 consecutive drives, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I'll still take that. This was just that game that everything lined up for the Carolina Panthers and everything that could possibly go wrong on the opposite side of the ball for the Los Angeles Rams went wrong for the Los Angeles Rams. You have to be proud of the ability of the Carolina Panthers to put up 24 offensive points against a Los Angeles Rams defense that many are touting as being one of the better defenses in the league. So these key victories that Carolina is racking up against Green Bay, against Dallas, against Los Angeles, 3 of the supposed hottest teams in the National Football League right now, are going to pay dividends for them in January if they do make it to the playoffs. They will host a wild card game. They may win that wild card game and find themselves in the divisional round to give those Panther fans hope.
Hey, look, man, Keith said it ain't hard to be the cream of the crop in the NFC South. I wanted to say this too, man. Carolina was able to convert on 4th down three out of 3 times. 2 of those conversions was touchdowns. I mean,
hey, sweet touchdowns too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm impressed with the Panthers. Now, Jimmy Brown, one of the biggest Steeler fans on this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my man, my brother-in-law, way back in August. And I told him, I said, bro, this is going to be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. And then I changed my mind later on as the season began because I did not foresee Aaron Rodgers having that much success. But I guess the Pittsburgh Steelers are crashing back down to earth because in a must-win game at home against a team who is fighting for their own playoff life, Pittsburgh offense didn't even bother to show up. They got ran over, ran through, ran under, ran all the way around. Is it over for Pittsburgh in 2025? Because they have a huge game this weekend against their arch rival, the Baltimore Ravens. And follow-up question, is the conversation about Mike Tomlin considering to move on a legitimate conversation to begin having?
I would say one, it's over. Tommy, it's over, man. Pack your bags. They didn't have enough. It's over, man. I mean, like you said, the offense, man, when your tight end is your top receiver and he only got 45 yards, you got problems. You can't run the ball, you can't pass the ball. I mean, your boy was under duress. I mean, he even had a bloody. A-Rod had a daggone bloody nose out there, man. They was giving him the business this weekend. And the Buffalo Bills didn't do nothing. But here's the problem: let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. This is where it's really bad for me because Josh Allen didn't do much in this game. It was really the James Cook show. James Cook led in rushing and receiving for the Bills, man. And it was like they had nothing to do. They could not stop this dude, man. And on that second part of your question, yeah, I mean, you heard the boos out there. Hey, and you know, in this day and age that we live in, man, the people that pay the tickets, they speak volumes. I know how loyal Pittsburgh been to Tomlin for a while, but I think it's about time, bro. I think
You
he
know,
always and he's one him and the coach out there, Andy Reid. You know, you don't have coaches in the league like that no more. The coach a team as long as they have, man. I think the fan base is fed up, and I think they're about to make some moves.
yeah. Addressing the Mike Tomlin possibility of moving on if there is a losing season, even if they don't have a losing season and don't win a playoff game, that is a conversation that legitimately needs to be considered. And we talked about the booing, and you mentioned how in today's age that fan influence kind of drives decision making in the front office because it is a what have you done for me lately type of league. We saw how the league kind of pushed the greatest coach of all time out the door in Bill Belichick, and the loyalty that the Rooney family has with only 3 head coaches in their entire history: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin, in the 60 plus years or 70 plus years or 80 plus years or however long Pittsburgh Steelers have been in existence, says something about what that family does and how they conduct business. So it wouldn't be, well, the Rooney family is going to succumb, to, at least in my opinion, are going to succumb to the will of or the fan base who are just tired of either what Tomlin does in a regular season and produces no success in the postseason, because we know that they haven't won a playoff game in a decade. That says a lot when you're a constant playoff participant. You have to win one, especially since you own 6 Super Bowl rings. The fans expect a lot of success. So whether or not he has a losing season, 8-9 or 9-8, makes the playoffs, doesn't make the playoffs, if the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't in the divisional round, then yeah, I think it will be that time. If they don't win a playoff game, he will definitely hear the echoes of it's time to go. Now, for the Buffalo Bills, supposedly this was the team that couldn't stop the run. The Pittsburgh Steelers are what? Built on run stop defense, and they could not stop the run. They're the second oldest or the oldest defense in the league, the second highest paid defense in the league, and they simply don't have what it's going to take to carry them over the finish line. We're going to talk about the game that they have coming this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens. And both of these two teams are coming into this game at 6-6. Both of these two teams are tied for the division lead, so to speak, even though technically speaking, Baltimore is in the lead right now. And both of them control their own destiny to the playoffs and path to the playoffs. Win the games that are in front of you, and you're in. Lose the games that are in front of you, and you're obviously sitting at the home when January comes. And a lot of their remaining games are against division rivals. So you got nobody to blame but yourself if you don't get in.
But what we said was that other two the Ravens actually have an easier route than the Pittsburgh Steelers do. But hell, the way the Ravens been playing, and I'm gonna get up off this because I see Karen on here right now, and she already.
I'm about to address that though, but go ahead.
Now I'm just saying that the Ravens actually have an easier route. If they really want to make it easy, they must go ahead and they need to go ahead and do what they're supposed to do with the Steelers this weekend.
Yeah. They are playing in Baltimore this weekend. We're going to talk about this game later on tonight and then again on Friday. Public service announcement, Karen, Tommy, Jordan, Ravens fans, Steelers fans, let's keep it PG in the conversation. ladies, and this is the most heated rivalry in the NFL, at least for the past 30 years or so, in my opinion. These two teams do not like each other. These two teams historically have had top-notch defenses. When they play each other, these two teams really bring it every time they play each other. I don't foresee that happening in 2025 because neither one of them have a tough defense, but you never know what will happen. But for the show's purposes, let's keep it PG in the conversation when we going at it tonight, Friday, and next Tuesday when we come back. Was that great?
They being nice, man. Karen said she gonna go sit in the cold.
Hey, she better be at that game. She better be at that game because it's gonna be a good one. Hey,
me.
This next game, man, San Francisco was in a must-win situation simply because at 7-4, they are still in that seventh position in the wild card based on how everything works out in their own division, chasing Seattle, chasing the Rams. But I wanted to kind of veer from the San Francisco focus and kind of dig into where we are with the Cleveland Browns. And what direction are we going to take with the Cleveland Browns for the remainder of the regular season? Whether or not Shedeur Sanders, if he remains healthy, will continue to be the starter, and or whether or not you're going to bring in Dillon Gabriel back, even though he's shown you in 6 weeks that he can't really lead a team at this point in his young career. And when you are dealing with rookies, both for Shedeur and for Dillon Gabriel, when you are thrust into the starting lineup as a rookie, you expect the veterans on your team to kind of protect you, help you out, help you learn the playbook, kind of make some adjustments when they need to, right? To ensure that they are setting the young quarterback up for success. But this young man that is on the screen right here, an alum of Alabama, I guess he learned that under Nick Saban on how to be a professional. But he has shown, Jerry Jeudy I'm talking about, that he don't carry that same level of fire for Dillon Gabriel's shortcomings, which we all saw firsthand for 6 weeks, and have a little bit of heat for the young Shedeur after one play. And I do mean one play. Griff, what's up with your boy, man?
Man, again, is this Jerry Jeudy?
Yes.
Or is this the coaching? My problem.
This is Jerry Jeudy. The coach.
I would say this, man. I don't think it's Jerry Jeudy, and it ain't because it's an Alabama guy. It's because how the coaching staff has handled this whole situation since day one. They have not propped this kid up to be that guy. And if it was me, I mean, I understand they get heated on the sideline. And if you go back and you watch that particular play where they got heated, he was wide open. It was for a touchdown. I would say they should do a little better than Gabriel, but I would say that the team as a whole has been set up to be having these type of arguments. When Gabriel was in there, hey, he our guy, we're gonna lift him up or whatever. You cannot look at any interview with that head coach or anybody that's on that staff and see how they do the same thing for Shedeur. Even at this point when they done put him in there, we still looking at right now when they saying they don't know if he gonna still. They know whether or not they're going to have him start the rest of the season. We still got to go game to game. And so I understand that they get heated. They over there on that sideline, but I ain't gonna put that all on Jeudy. You coming at my boy because he's from Alabama and you're an LSU guy. So anytime you get a chance to poke a hole at my people, you do that. And I see that in you.
Really? No, okay. I get your point. About Jeudy not being the only culprit. And you're absolutely right. I've said this before that Kevin Stefanski has not set Shedeur up for success at any point throughout this entire season, from training camp to having 0 snaps with the first team, the second team, or even the third team up until week 7 of the NFL season after Joe Flacco had already made his second start in Cincinnati. So Kevin Stefanski is definitely the puppet master pulling the strings as to why Shedeur Sanders was intentionally set up for failure from the very get-go. Why are we going week to week trying to figure out whether or not Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter this next week? It is good fodder. It is good conversation. It keeps the Cleveland Browns, even though they're 2-10, in the daggone media. That's it. Other than that tenacious defense and Myles Garrett going to break the NFL single season sack records, Shedeur Sanders is the only other conversation worth having about that entire, not only team, but that entire city.
I
So
would tell you that rushing game, hey, Jenkins, Sampson. That's why I said they got a bright future,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
They have a bright. The running game is awesome. They just couldn't convert on third down. This is the difference in this game right here. If they could convert on third down, this game would have been somewhat different because Purdy didn't do much in this game.
yeah. Not
Shador
again.
had a better passer rating than Purdy did in this game.
No, Shedeur, yeah, had a better game than Purdy. This game was closer than the score reflected. You're absolutely correct. Not being able to convert on critical downs kind of led to the 49ers walking away with it. Hey, way to keep it up, Darren. Who that for life, baby? We are definitely going to be competing for that number one overall pick.
Man,
As a and as a Saints fan, obviously we're going to, before we transition into the college football for this past weekend, I give a quick shout out to my Saints on why we are going to mess this next draft up. We're going to select another quarterback, regardless of where we are in the draft, because we're going to be in the top three, whether it's us, the Jets, and Tennessee. We're going to select a quarterback. Tennessee already has their quarterback. If it's us and the Jets competing, we're both going to select a quarterback. There are no quarterbacks in today's college football class that I'm real giddy about. If there was a college football quarterback that I really had to do my homework on and study on, well, I would go with the one that I know. And his last name start with an S, end with an N, and he played for an elephant. At least for now. At least for now, but we'll see what he does this upcoming weekend because we're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, it took you a minute, but I know you got it.
I already know exactly who you're talking about, man. Roll Tide.
Man, the game happened this weekend between the Michigan Wolverines and the number one ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, the defending national champs, traveling from Columbus into Ann Arbor to take on a 9-2 Michigan team led by the young freshman phenom Underwood. And we're looking to not only defend home field, make their own case for the college football playoffs, but to once again ruin Ohio State's season, look to beat them for a fifth consecutive time because Michigan has won the last four, oddly enough. But Ohio State did what you would expect from a number one ranked team. Traveled to a hostile environment where it was 110,000 screaming fans, most of them cheering on the opposition, and took care of business, even though they got a helpful call in the first half. Touchdown that wasn't a touchdown, that was called a touchdown, which shifted momentum, but I don't think it would have taken away from the final score.
That touchdown ain't take from that game, bro.
No.
If he didn't, hey, Michigan was one dimensional, and they weren't even dimensional there.
Yeah, they were struggling.
Man, they couldn't pass the ball. They couldn't run the ball. All right. And then it didn't help that the snow came in. This game right here still didn't show me exactly what Ohio State is made out of because they did not. I mean, the game plan that Michigan had, I know what they wanted to do. They wanted to come in and try to run the ball or whatever. But when they got to the point where the running wasn't enough, when it was out, they couldn't throw the ball, man. 63 yards passing? Come on, man. And it wasn't like they was getting to him all the time. The kid just couldn't throw the ball, man. I know he's this phenom and they hyped him up and all this other stuff, man. But Ohio State had the ball 20 minutes longer than Michigan did in this game. 20 minutes longer. And that's because of all them 3 and outs, man. Them Joe couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't throw it to
Well,
save himself.
it was windy, man. It was windy. And, bro, hey, Bryce Underwood, freshman phenom. Like I said last week, I'm very familiar with this young brother. He was slated to go down to LSU this past year until NIL kicked in, and Michigan was able to retain him at home. He is a Michigan kid, number 1 overall recruit in the entire country last year. Does have a gun for an arm. Does have pinpoint precision, and it just so happened that the Ohio State Buckeye defense showed up as a good, very good defense that was able to shut down a 9-win team in their house in the biggest game of the year. So I'm going to give the Ohio State Buckeyes their props because I did not believe that they were going to win this game. I did not believe they were going to be able to rise to the occasion. I did not believe that Ryan Day had it in him for 2 consecutive years to pull it off, but they did.
I knew they was going to do it. Matt Patricia's run an NFL-style defense up there, and I don't watch Michigan play, man. And what I've seen Michigan do all this year, if they can't run the ball, if they can't run it, they have problems. And that was the case in this game right here.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to, the game this weekend between Ohio State and Indiana. I'm actually going to pay attention to that game very closely. Going from the game to the Iron Bowl that almost got melted for those Alabama Crimson. They almost gave it away, ladies and gentlemen. Came that close if it wasn't for a drop pass here, a turnover there from those Tigers from Auburn. We would have been having a different conversation about the SEC title game. Griff, how nervous were you going into this game, and how nervous were you coming out of this game? Y'all pulled out yet another one, man.
I wasn't nervous going into the game, man. It just frustrated, man. I don't want to take nothing away from the team, from the other team from the state. As you know, I never say their name. I'm just glad that they dropped a lot of passes because if they didn't, that was the difference making this game. The defense was awesome, but our offensive play calling sucked, man. If you know they coming at you, and it's in the short yardage, bro. I mean, several times, man, 31, 32. And we throwing the long ball down the field, and you got guys. I mean, they blitzing on third down. The other team from the state blitz. I almost said their name. Blitz every daggone time, bro. You hit them with a screen. You hit them with some short over the middle. It's there. It's always like this. I'm not worried. I remember the last time, and even when Bryce was there, we had these games, and then we went right into the SEC championship game and blew Georgia out. So I ain't even worried about that. I'm looking forward to the game this weekend. I'm glad to be there this weekend. I'm pretty sure we have a different game plan. But when you start talking about these rivalry games, man, this is one that we should have lost, but we didn't, and I'm going to take it. This is one of them times when they say, hey, I'm just going to take it, man. Hey, it was ugly. It was not pretty. You go look at the numbers. The other team from the state, man, their quarterback had better numbers than my quarterback did. They had more rushing yards. I mean, across the board, they had us beat. They beat themselves.
There was a time during the season where Alabama was the hottest ticket in the country. That one team that, even though that they took that first L, you was like, well, that's the best team in the country right now. But 3 games that really kind of brought it into focus for me, and I got a question for you after I lay this out. The LSU game opened my eyes about, well, Alabama's offense isn't as good as I actually thought it was, because I know LSU defense has gaps and they were not taking advantage of it. Then the Oklahoma game, where I was really surprised because I had no confidence in the Oklahoma defense to stop Alabama's offense. And then this Auburn game where it was a lot of drop passes that kind of gave y'all this game. Question is, did DeBoer bring his own offensive coordinating philosophy from Washington to Alabama and implemented that? Or has he adopted a more balanced approach to where we're focused on SEC football? Because Alabama doesn't have the traditional run game like y'all usually have, to where you got it in your hip pocket that is a go-to, dependable drive generating, time consuming function. What is Alabama's offensive identity in 2020?
Drew, if I can answer that question, Drew, hey man, I win a lot.
Really?
I'm telling you right now, when I say I don't understand the play calling, it's not SEC play calling. I can tell you that right now. Like you said, we don't have that dominant running game that we are grown accustomed to what Alabama has. That's the one thing they've always had. All these trick plays and all this trying to, this
That's that West
misdirection
Coast.
bullcrap.
That's
It,
that
it,
West Coast stuff.
it baffles me, man. And it don't work down here, man. And I just don't like it. Yeah, he made a gutsy call down there on the goal line, 4th down, shocked the hell out of me because I was like, man, just kick the field goal and leave it on defense because our offense looked good in the first half of the season. The defense is what's been looking pretty much at keeping us in games the last half of the season. I really don't. I couldn't answer that question with that offense, man. I don't know what our offense is.
Wow.
It's ugly.
Of all of the possible answers that I could imagine you coming up with, you not having an answer at all really says a lot about Alabama heading into the college football playoffs if y'all win this upcoming
And
week.
they ain't supposed to be there. Let everybody tell it. They ain't supposed to be there in the first place. After the FSU game, everybody had already counted us out.
Hell, even you, hey, don't lie. Even you did. Stop lying.
I did, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. The coach was on the hot seat then. And the word on the street is the only reason why Lane went to LSU, because if we would have lost that game, Lane was coming to Alabama.
Speaking of Lane, we're going to talk about Lane in about 3 minutes. But before we get to Lane, my man, is Mike on tonight? Is Fred on tonight? I must say,
get a man they respect.
I got to come up and eat my humble pie because I had zero confidence in these Longhorns to be able to defend home field in Austin. I had zero confidence in the 2025 version of the Texas Longhorns to beat an undefeated team, the 3rd-ranked team in the country, which I probably categorized as the number 1 ranked team in the country because of their success, because of their conference, because of who they have played and beat already. And what I have seen from the Texas Longhorns has provided me a moment of pause and doubt because Arch Manning, even though he has progressively gotten well or better throughout the season, Texas as a team has not shown me to where they are taking off and heading into the next stratosphere. Well, bruh, Texas just might be one of the best 3-loss teams in the country. And yes, Sark has a case to make to put them in the college football playoffs. Not going to happen. You don't deserve it. You lost 3 games. You had your chance on the field. You lost 3 games. You played Ohio State pretty well at the very beginning of the season, but then you gave another game away when you lost to, who did they lose to? They lost to Georgia. They lost to somebody else. So Texas is in the boat that they are in because they did it to themselves. I want to talk about Texas A&M and how this loss has completely derailed what could have been the historic season that Texas A&M fans would have been talking about for the next 50 years. It's no longer the case, even if you go on to win a national championship. It had to be a perfect season. It had to be capped off with the defining win against our arch rival, the first time we played each other in 15 years, now that we're back in the same conference. Texas A&M had it all served up for them. They were the better team. They were the higher-ranked team. They were the more experienced team. And they got their lunch money taken. Man, how surprised are you at Texas A&M?
Sometimes teams have your number, though, man. And unfortunately, that's what happened in this game. Again, we start talking about turnovers. Well, first of all, let's shift over to the Texas side first because Texas was able to run the ball. Something that Texas A&M been able to stop other teams from doing that happened is Wisner had 155 yards running this game. And then it don't help that your quarterback, Texas A&M wise, their quarterback was their top running as well as the passing game, man. They didn't have a valid running game, and when he got hurt, that kind of stifled them a little bit too. the Texas defense got a whole lot better throughout the season. And I would tell you that Arch Manning that we have been looking for all season, he kind of showed up in this game right here. In this game, that dude extended some plays with his legs, man. Hell, he even ran one long touchdown on the quarterback sneak. That joker ran one, I think, 35 yards. But he was throwing the ball too, man. He was getting the ball to his receiver. So, yeah, it's gonna hurt because it's a rivalry game. Even though they don't play each other often, well, now that they're in the SEC, it even means more. But for them, they got bragging rights. Texas got, regardless of how this ends, for 365 days, the Longhorn fans get to say, I don't care what y'all did, we beat y'all, and that's all that matters. And that's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth.
You're right, man, because Troy just mentioned that they may have not been able to recover from that huge comeback against the Carolina Gamecocks, South Carolina Gamecocks, the previous week or a couple of weeks ago. But that just adds to the mystique as to how great of a season that this would have been. That great comeback, that historic comeback against a South Carolina Gamecocks team that had us down at home 30-3, and we found the grit to muster up and come back in the second half. And then capping it off with, bro, how hard is it in the SEC to go undefeated in the regular season, get to the SEC title game, win the SEC title game, and then go through the playoff system and the college football playoffs and cap it off with a national championship? That is extremely difficult. Only a few times, right?
The only time that, I mean, believe it or not, all those national championships that Nick Saban got, only one time he was undefeated, and that was during the COVID season.
2020.
Other than that, man, he had losses. It is not easy to go undefeated in the SEC. I don't care who you are, and if you can, you should automatically be given the national championship just by going undefeated in the SEC.
Yep. Yeah. So kudos to the Texas Longhorns. Y'all own the Texas State title, and you destroyed A&M's possible legacy.
Head coach got a nice contract extension though.
Who that? Oh yeah, the Texas A&M. Yeah. Hey, going from one contract extension from Texas A&M to a huge contract signing for those Tigers from LSU. Way back when, about week 6, 7, when you and I broached the conversation about LSU finally stepping up to the plate and getting rid of Brian Kelly because he simply was not the guy for a variety of reasons. My initial thought was who would come in and replace Brian Kelly. And that top 5 list for me was Lane Kiffin, and then Frank Wilson at number 5 just to keep it in-house. And lo and behold, LSU found money that they don't have. I don't know where they be finding all this money, being one of the lowest totem poles as it pertains to financial generation of funds in the country. But they keep finding money to pay these daggone coaches.
They sure paying, they paying 2 of them right now that they ain't coaching.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin's contract, Brian Kelly's buyout, Ed Orgeron's buyout. LSU is on the hook for $160 million.
Look at God. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? But hey, speaking of the future, Lane Kiffin is the future. Not only of the Louisiana State University Fighting Tigers, but of the Southeastern Conference and the way that you recruit year to year, because the NCAA now is a year-to-year free agency free-for-all in college football. And anyone with speed, talent, and arm, agility, and size is going to want to go to one of these schools that are going to provide them one, visibility, the opportunity to get on that field in front of 100,000 people every single Saturday and put on their ability to make plays. And Kiffin is the hottest ticket in town. And LSU, being one of the most coveted jobs in the country, at least in the football arena, got their guy. Griff, we talked about the possibility of it happening. We talked about what it could mean for the LSU Tigers and what it would mean for the SEC and the rest of the country. Well, it has now happened. Why or how do you see Lane Kiffin being able to have an immediate impact. And you remember, after I said Brian Kelly, or after Brian Kelly got fired, I said whoever comes in needs to have an immediate impact. There is no rebuilding. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's time for you to put up today, bro. Lane Kiffin can do that. Do you not believe?
I like Lane, man. I just think that, hey, by him abandoning them kids at Ole Miss, and I do say abandoning them kids, because again, Lane has a track. Let me say this first, because Herman Edwards did make a good point. Nobody had nothing to say when Lane got fired at USC and told to turn in his keys and the playbook on the tarmac. Nobody had anything to say about that. I just think you got an 11-1 team, a team that has a chance to win the college football playoffs. And, I see Karen say they did it wrong and they should be allowed him to stay there and coach that team. But not me. You're not going to stay here because you had an option. Because what happens, Karen, is he going to also, with NIL and all this other stuff, he going to try to pull some of these kids with him. Y'all have already lost some kids. And it's
a couple of them have committed.
Some parents ain't going to want their kids to play with them because, again, and this is why I don't have an issue with NIL. Everybody talk about NIL. These coaches can just pick up and go and leave anytime they want to. And all it's going to take is some NFL team to holler at Lane a year or two in, and guess what? They're going to throw some extra money out there, and then Lane going to be gone again. He has a track record. So I think he coming out, he can make an impact. He's one of the, I'm going to turn it over to you, Drew. He's an offensive-minded dude. Mm-hmm. He's an offensive-minded dude. I love the way he played. But, I got a sour, taste in my mouth because Lane did the exact same thing to us at the University of Alabama right before we went into the college football championship game. He abandoned us when we was playing Kiss.
What?
He did it.
Yes,
against Clemson.
Okay. All right, let me unpack this. All right, now, just like you said, you began your soliloquy with saying, I like Lane Kiffin. And then you went into a Paul Feinbaum type of tirade as to why Lane Kiffin.
Don't you compare me to Paul.
I can't. What you're not gonna do on day one of my coach's tenure is throw dirt on his name. No, what I'm gonna say is, Griff, you said that Lane abandoned those kids, those young men. You and I served in a profession where we spent weeks, months, years preparing those members of the United States Army to not only execute their combat mission, but to go to war if need be, and depend on the person next to him or her, right? But if the Army tell you or I that, hey, you did a phenomenal job, it's time for you to go, they getting ready to go down rage, I need you to go do something else. What are you going to do? You're going to salute the flag and execute?
Wrong comparison. The Army ain't
giving me. It is the perfect comparison. It is the perfect comparison. Here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Ole Miss knew back in October when LSU fired Brian Kelly, we coming after your coach. LSU basically told them, we coming after your coach. Ole Miss had 2 months to lock this coach in. Pay him what you thought he deserved. Pay him what you knew LSU and Florida were going to offer him. Don't hang that, well, no, you stepping out on the kids. Since when? Since we're living in a capitalistic society, and even though we have ethics and morals, we are not going to make the best decision for ourselves and our family. Yeah, I'll wait. We don't do that because that's just not how we are built as humans. Don't fault the man because he saw a better opportunity to, 1, pay him more, 2, provide him more visibility, 3, increase his chances of getting a natty. And he didn't do it to Alabama. Nick Saban fired him a week before the national championship game.
Man, you better go check it out. He didn't fire him.
Nick didn't fire him.
Ole Miss offered, Ole Miss, go check it out. Ole Miss offered
Florida Atlantic University.
Ole Miss offered Lane the same money, the exact same money. We can sit up here, we can debate it all day. I know you happy you got him, but 2 years now, clock this, Joy. 2 years now, he gonna be pissed when Lane leaves.
As long as long as Lane bring a natty to Baton Rouge,
It ain't happening. You
yeah.
can clock this too.
Oh,
You can
you
clock
know
this
what?
too.
You know
Y'all don't
what?
get no daddy.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. You
Clock
can
it.
clock this right now. Post 2025, because I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of this current football season. I bet you $23 that Lane Kiffin brings a national championship to LSU
Hey
before
man,
the board bringing one to Alabama.
let's keep it in multiples of 5, brother. 25.
All right. All right,
Hey,
man. Let us
hey,
move on.
we got to move. I know we got to move on, man. I understand exactly what you're saying, but the thing about it is one, and I have to say this: that comparison that you gave between the military, that ain't that was we don't have a choice. We can't say that we gonna stay, even though when we come down on the side, we have to leave. Lane had an option. He had a choice. He had an 11-1 team. And I know, Karen, you can talk to me till you're blue in the face with this one. I don't agree. He had an option to stay there and coach that team. I don't agree with the fact that teams have the ability to even talk to another coach while the season is still going on. Me personally, that's something that needs to be cleaned up. Because I think that's wrong. But at the end, I let you coach this team. So if you wanted to coach him, you could have stayed.
I feel you.
I'm done.
All right, now let us move on, man.
You got a coach though, Drew. You got your coach. He gonna get you $25.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers, bro. Right in 2026, the race is on between Lane Kiffin and Mike DeBoer. Who brings the title home first? All right, it'll be them Tigers from the purple and gold and the red stick.
I love, boy. You love this support. You just love getting. Hey, but you're a Saints fan. I don't expect that list.
And you're a Cowboys fan. Let's talk about the current daggone century, bro.
We the boys.
Let's go. All right.
Why y'all ain't caught up with us? Y'all, everybody keep on talking about the Cowboys and how they ain't done this and how they. All these teams that had 30 years to win as many championships as we have. What's the holdup?
Man, I could not answer that question if I even tried. All right, so let us move on to the college football conference championship weekend. The two big conferences that always get the bigger headlines in the country. They have the most slots in the college football playoff rankings, the Big Ten and the SEC. Right, those are the two games that I want to really dig into during tonight's conversation. We'll start off with the Ohio State Buckeyes, 12-0, the number one team in the country, playing the Indiana Hoosiers, the number two team in the country, also 12-0. Both of these two teams are undefeated. In my opinion, both of these two teams have only played two quality games their entire calendar football year. But this upcoming Saturday, they settle it on the field at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Looking forward to a very exciting game. This is the last game of the night on Saturday night. Kicks off at 8 o'clock on Fox, if I remember correctly. And Griff, this is going to be an offensive show, in my opinion. We gave the Ohio State defense some credit at the beginning of the show or early in the show when we talked about the Ohio State-Michigan game. But Indiana's offense has that offense to where they not only chew up clock, they put points on the board. And they put up a lot of points on the board in 2025. Also in Alabama connection there. What kind of game are you looking for this upcoming weekend between these two teams?
I think this game will start off kind of slow, man. I think we'll see all the scoring probably in the second half of this game. I like both of these teams, man, but I think Ohio State has the better talent as well as the better coaches. Not trying to take anything away from the Indiana head coach. Again, he come from a Nick Saban tree. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Big Ten got to offer because, again, both of these two teams took the whole season undefeated, but like you said, they haven't played the type of schedule that our teams in the SEC play. But I think And I'm taking. I ain't supposed to get my pick today, right? I got to get my pick on Friday, right?
Yeah. Wait until
I can
Friday.
give it today.
I mean, that's up to
I'm
you.
gonna wait till Friday,
If you
man.
have that conviction as to why you believe Team A is better than Team B, then by all means, if you're going to stick with that pick, roll with that pick.
Nah, man. I really, really think that Ohio State had a better team. I think they had a better talent. I don't watch both of these teams play, and yes, they haven't played the type of quality teams or talent that you see in the SEC. But you could just see certain things on certain teams. That Ohio State defense is scary, as well as the weapons that that kid got over there on the offensive side of the ball. I'm looking forward. Hey, they got a running back by the name of Bo Jackson at Ohio State. That all by itself say a whole lot. And then you got Tate and you got Smith over there, and the quarterback is awesome. I just think that this is gonna be an easy game for Ohio State.
See, this is the perfect example of playing the game on the field as compared to playing the game on paper. Ohio State on paper is a far more talented team than the Indiana Hoosiers. The NIL money tells you that they are a far more talented team. They have 5-star recruits as compared to the 3-star recruits that the Hoosiers have. But that's not what's going to decide this game. It is, are you able to make those big plays against that opposing team in those key moments? Because this game is going to be tight, as you mentioned, right? This game is going to go through ebbs and flows where one team is going to get hot for a couple of drives and then go vice versa. It's not going to be a one-sided game as many people believe. This is going to be a maybe starting off slow, but a very balanced game where it's going to be decided by a few key plays on either side. Whichever coach has a better game plan, whichever team has the momentum at the time and is able to take advantage of those matchups, whether it's the Indiana offense by chewing up clock or whether it is the Ohio State offense by quick strike offense with those two key receivers on the outside and with Mr. Young Bo Jackson gashing up that Indiana defense, or whether or not one of those two quarterbacks make a key play. It is going to come down to coaching. The Nick Saban disciple or Ryan Day's approach. You mentioned Matt Patricia and his defensive implementation and how that should disrupt the Indiana offense, and whether or not it disrupts Indiana's offense over multiple drives will be the deciding factor. We'll talk more about this game on Friday, but I tell you, many of us may believe that Ohio State is better. Yes, they are on paper. Will that translate to on the field performance? It showed last weekend against Michigan. I was impressed. Indiana did the same thing when they went to Eugene to take on the Oregon Ducks and took down the third-ranked Oregon Ducks at the time. Don't sleep on the Hoosiers. I can't believe I'm saying that. Don't sleep on the Hoosiers, bro.
Basketball team.
I know, right? Going from what you believe is a basketball teams to two teams you know for a fact are ingrained in football. The SEC title game, two teams that are very familiar with each other, two teams that historically have been in the SEC title game a lot here over the past 20, 30, 40 years, have won their fair share of SEC titles, have won their fair share of, or had their fair share of regular season success. Until recently, there was a 40-year drought for Georgia on the national stage as it pertains to hoisting that natty. Alabama has had multiple since then. Alabama beat Georgia earlier in the year. Different team from early in the year. Alabama jumped on Georgia early in the year in that game. Georgia had to come back just like they did the last time they played Alabama in the regular season. Georgia has since corrected that. Hey, let's fall down by 14, 21 points and see if we can catch them before the end of the game philosophy. We know the approach that Kirby Smart is going to take. on defense. Your offense, just as we spoke about 30 minutes ago, is somewhat suspect over past calendar month. What do you need to see from the Alabama offense that you have yet to be able to identify as to what type of offense it is to be able to sustain drives against that Georgia defense this weekend? What do you need to see?
I need to see. I need us to take what Georgia gives us, man. Georgia's gonna come. The last couple of games Alabama played, Oklahoma, the other school from the state of Alabama has showed you what you gotta do. All you gotta do, the offensive line can't block. Just put pressure on Ty Simpson. But you know, in this past game, what I didn't see Bernard touch the ball. I didn't see Ryan Williams touch the ball. I just don't see that happening in this next game. I would say this. This is the only time I say this. In the 2 years that the boy has been at the University of Alabama, for whatever reason, he know how to put a game plan up against Georgia. In all the games that he played against Georgia, Alabama was the underdog in all those games. Alabama was the underdog in all those games, and Alabama won all those games. So, regardless of what we've seen in the last 3 weeks, I got my faith in that offense is going to rectify the problems that they had in the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be a good game because it's an SEC championship game. And I was debating, but I had already a previous event. I was about to hop on the plane and go down to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium because I know that I can get a hot dog, a soda, and some fries for less than $10, man. So I was gonna go down there and watch the game because I'm just gonna have to watch it from afar, man. But I think that's what I need to see from my offense. I need to see them make smarter decisions. We don't need to do all that fancy stuff. Get the ball into the game winner's hands, Bernard and Ryan. But really, Bernard was basically shut out in this game, right? I just didn't understand what went on this past game. But that's what I need to see.
And I definitely feel you on all of those points. From the Georgia side of the house, which Georgia team are we going to get? Are we going to get the team that played tight against its arch rival in Georgia Tech? Or was Georgia Tech just better than what people gave them credit for by playing Georgia tough last weekend? Or are we going to get the Georgia team that has been able to kickstart their offense early in games now, like what they did against Texas? These games late in the season are about two things: health and momentum. Late in the season, Alabama has struggled offensively. Late in the season, Georgia has started better offensively, and their defense has shown up in a way that you're traditionally expecting Georgia defense to show up. So right now, early, if you were to say, well, just based on how these two teams have performed over the past month, based on where they are, you would give Georgia the slight edge. But I definitely 1,000% understand your 100% confidence in Alabama's ability to play not only well against Georgia, but have a game plan that gives you the opportunity to win the game because, like you said, over the past 2 years, you're 3-0 against this very same team where nobody else in the country can say that we beat Georgia maybe even once in the past 3 years or past 2 years. So this game is a toss-up. We knew this game was going to be a toss-up coming into this game. It's about who is able to execute, who is able to move the line. The game is going to be won and lost between the offensive line for Alabama and Georgia and the defensive line for Georgia and Alabama, respectively. Whichever line moves the other, whether it's in the run game or in pass protection, that is the team that will be hoisting the trophy as the SEC champions. And we all know that Alabama needs this game to make it to the college football playoffs. If Alabama loses this game, you're not going. You're going to, another January 1st bowl somewhere. So I can't wait till this game kicks off at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We'll talk about it, give our picks on Friday night. But no one can say that Alabama should win this game. Nobody can say that Georgia should win this game. This is going to be one of those games where you're going to have to fasten up your chin straps, look both ways before crossing the street because the truck is coming. You just have to be able to withstand the hit. We'll talk about it now. But I got a feeling who you going to pick. You just might be wrong.
Roll Tide. Ain't no suspense on this side. You already know who I'm rolling with. It is what it is.
we gonna see.
You already know who I'm rolling with, baby.
No, yeah, I understand the loyalty pick for the Alabama Crimson Tide and for this upcoming game that we're going to talk about that's happening less than 48 hours from now on Thursday Night Football. Your Dallas Cowboys are traveling to the 3-1-3 to take on the Detroit Lions in a must-win game for both of these two teams. As the intro label said, the playoffs, the journey continues. This is just a playoff game that's being played in early December. It will be a elimination game, basically, for the loser of this game, because there is no way in the world that Dallas is going to get into the playoffs with 6 losses, at least 6 losses.
Haters know they gonna hate, boy.
I'm not hating. I'm stating facts.
Man, the Eagles about to drop off, but we winning our division.
Hey, don't worry about the Eagles. Worry about what y'all gonna do on Thursday night. What does your team need to do? What does Dallas need to do? What does Dak need to do?
What I need Dallas to do is to start off hot, man. We done beat the Chiefs, we done beat the Eagles, but it's them games, the way we did it, we didn't start off hot, man. I need us to start off hot. I need the defense to continue to play the way they've been playing, as far as, because we already, you know how I feel about Jared Goff. You put that heat on him, we already know what's going to happen, and we got the front four to do it. St. Brown, as of right now, might be a scratch. He ain't practicing the 2 games. He hurt his ankle. He had a bad ankle injury in that game. Mm-hmm. That's going to be another factor. I need to be able to stop that 2-headed monster, and that's Quinn Williams and Clark has showed that they can stop that run. And with O'Shawn being back, we might have a Trey Diggs sighting this weekend. On Thursday. I just need the offense to keep on playing the way they've been playing, man. Now, don't get away from the run. And I know as long as Dan Campbell is on the other side, I always got a chance, because he's going to keep us in there, because he's going to do something stupid to hurt his team.
No, I ain't going to say that he'll do something stupid.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Going to take some chances. Okay. I look for this game to be somewhat of a track meet. I look for a lot of offensive success for both the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys, because both of these offenses have the ability to put a lot of points on the board in a short amount of time, because they have a lot of playmakers, right? You talked about Quentin Williams and the ability of the defensive front to be able to stop Gibbs and Montgomery. Yeah, maybe sort of sometimes, but once you get past that first line of defense, and I don't believe there is another back in the NFL that hits the hole as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs does. So that half step that Quentin Williams may have against other teams, he may not have against Gibbs. That's even if Gibbs is coming in between the tackles. If I'm Jared Goff and I may have happy feet, I'm going to utilize Gibbs' ability to get to the outside, Montgomery's ability to get to the outside, Williams coming across the middle. Doesn't matter if St. Julian is playing or not. It does not matter, because I have multiple weapons if I am Dan Campbell. And yeah, I'm going to go for at least 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 times on 4th down. You can book it, as we like to say. Dan Campbell will be going for it on 4th down multiple times throughout this game, regardless of whether or not he's on his side of the field or the Dallas Cowboys side of the field. I cannot wait for this game. This game is going to be a very exciting game and an interesting game. And we know that when the chips are down, which team are you going to have the most confidence in to get that dub? When we are in these types of situations, my philosophy, boys, bro. No, you can turn that down. I'm going to the home team, the 3-1-3, represent the Detroit Lions, get that dub, and send Dak and them boys back down to Jerry's World with a fresh L burger.
Clock it.
Clock.
Clock it, Jordan. Clock it.
Man, I can't believe you played that daggone noise. Well, since you have a lot of enthusiasm, Jordan, I hope you have a theme song for your daggone team because the Saints are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are traveling down to the Baltimore Ravens to take on Jordans and Karens and every Baltimore Raven fans. Baltimore Ravens led by Lamar Jackson and Mr. Derrick Henry himself. And whether or not Todd Munchin as the offensive coordinator is actually going to call a game plan to where you are handing the ball off to Derrick Henry at least 25 to 30 times to give the Baltimore Ravens a chance to beat a depleted Pittsburgh Steelers team who just got mollywopped at home by the Buffalo Bills this past weekend. Griff, this is a game that is for the AFC North Division lead. Both of these two teams are 6-6. Both of these two teams show you that they are inconsistent, cannot be relied upon to do anything with any consistency. I'm not bashing either team. I'm just stating the obvious facts. Their fans should be able to admit to that, at least. Karen, Tommy, Jordan, all you other Steelers fans, that your team is inconsistent. Aaron Rodgers is banged up. Lamar is banged up. Which team do you have more confidence in? Granted, Baltimore is at home, but which team do you have more confidence in to establish themselves early on offense?
I think the Ravens, man. I just as bad as Lamar's been playing here lately, I just haven't seen nothing on the Steelers side of the ball that make me think that they're gonna be able to come out there and do anything. Like you said, all they got to do, man. You just watch the game against the Bills. You just watch how James Cook just ran through them like a hot knife through butter. Mm-hmm. Give the ball to King Henry, man.
Please.
Want them to stop you from King Henry to run the ball. I mean, I'm telling you, you say 20, King, you say 20 or 20, 25, man, King Henry should touch this ball at least 30 times, brother.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry. You're going to have to stop me. You're going to have to show me that you can stop the run. Because it's like we keep on trying to make Lamar. And I got it. You know, everybody talk about how much better a passer he is or whatever. But if you don't have to pass, why pass? I know people love to see all these touchdowns, long balls down. I'm not that guy. I'm a guy that believes in defense and they're gonna run the ball because that's what win games right there. That's how Baltimore won their 2 Super Bowls was defense and the ability to run the ball. Run the ball till the Steelers can't even spell run no more.
You're right. And it is the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers that are going to decide this game for me. Whether or not Derrick Henry has success, whether or not the Baltimore Raven run game has success, whether or not Lamar has much more agility or even attempts to throw the ball, whether or not the weather is going to be a factor, whether or not it's going to be windy, raining, snowing, you never know. Because all of that is going to contribute into whether or not I pick the home team. Because this game, regardless of whether or not it's in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore,
outside in the cold,
these two teams play each other tough. This game is going to be tight. This game is most likely going to be low scoring for traditional reasons because these two teams always play each other tough and the games are always low scoring, but as well as for how effective these two offenses have been in 2025. They are hit and miss. You don't know which version of whatever team you're going to get on that particular weekend. I've said it for weeks. The Baltimore Ravens are the most talented team in the league for me, but they always play up or down to the level of their opponent. Yeah. And you just don't know what is going on in the approach that both Harbaugh, the offensive coordinator, or the defensive coordinator is taking for that particular game. Depending on the injuries, depending on the philosophy, it's weird. But I'm looking forward to this game because this game is going to decide the AFC North, at least for the upcoming week. You win this division or you stay home because there is going to be just one representative from the AFC North this year in the playoffs. From the AFC North to the NFC North, bruh, the Chicago Bears are for real. I keep telling y'all, I got it. You don't have that much confidence in Caleb Williams, but as a roster from 1 to 53, the Bears are something to be reckoned with in 2025. This is their prove-it game for, I believe, the entire country. Because if they are able to go into Green Bay this weekend and get a dub, they not only retain number one position in the entire NFC, but they close the door on the NFC North, in my belief. They lock up that division because they will have one or two games on each one of these other teams by beating them head to head.
So what you're saying is the Cowboys is going to do what they supposed to do against Detroit to help them have that spot. Okay.
It's possible, but I already made my
already
3-1-3, got that dub.
You already
in there for the wild card. What does Caleb have to do this weekend to give Chicago a chance to be competitive in the fourth quarter?
Don't turn the ball over.
Don't turn it over.
Don't turn the ball over. You already know that Michael Parsons and that defense is coming. Take what the defense give you and allow your defense to give Jordan Love the opportunity to get a ball away. But don't turn the ball over, man. Hey, they gotta. I think they looked at their identity. They ran the ball over 200 and some yards in this past game. Run the ball, man. And this is the type. These teams are built for this type of weather right here. This is what passing is out the window normally during this time of the year for these type of teams because they play outside in the cold weather. So they built to run the ball and have tough defenses. Caleb just can't turn the ball over to win this game.
You're right. This is the 4:30 kickoff game on Sunday afternoon in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
It's gonna be freezing. I don't know.
It's going to be freezing, but you could have elements. You could have snow, which will impact the passing game, the kicking game. So you need to make sure that you have a solid run game. So whether it's Jacobs for the Green Bay Packers if he's healthy, or Swift as the number one option for the Chicago Bears, both of their run games have to be on point. Jordan Love is very good in the short to mid-range passing game. Caleb Williams, he still got some things to prove. But the difference maker for both of these two teams is their defense and whether or not the defense for the Green Bay Packers can put enough pressure on Caleb Williams to create a turnover, get a sack fumble, or whether or not Chicago defense can get Jordan Love to give them a ball or two, because we know Jordan Love can do that as well. I'm looking forward to this game. This game is going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be exciting to try to predict. I hope weather plays a factor. I hope it's cold. I hope it's snowing. Just to have that cold December weather atmosphere. And this is the NFC North, the black and blue division, so to speak. So this kind of game we expect from these two teams. It's great to see that these two teams are not only good in December, but both of these two teams are competing for a playoff position and the division. The Bears are going to shock a whole lot of people. I'll pick on Friday, though.
I need Green Bay to win. I don't need the coach taking his shirt off and flexing and all. I don't need all that bullcrap, man.
All right, man. Now, this one right here, bro, this is the last game I want to talk about before we sign off for the night. This is a make it or break it game for the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending AFC champs, 7-time AFC participants in the last 7 years. Been to the Super Bowl 5 times in the last 7 years. Won 3 Super Bowls in the past 5-7 years. With a 3-time Super Bowl MVP in Patrick Mahomes. The greatest quarterback in this century physically at this point in his career, even over Tom Brady. This could be the weekend that we say bye-bye to all of that if the Houston Texans, which just so happens to be one of the hottest teams in the NFL and has the number one ranked defense in the NFL, fresh off of a victory against the league or the division leading Indianapolis Colts, can travel to Arrowhead, take on a Kansas City team that just came off of a fresh L, struggling themselves, fighting for their playoff life. Houston knows they need this victory. What does my man CJ Stroud, your favorite Houston resident, need to do to take a limited offense for the Houston Texans into Arrowhead and go punch for punch against Mahomes, knowing his defense can create a turnover against Mahomes and give them a shot to win? I want the Houston Texans path to victory.
Well, you just said it. You see, he need to play complementary football with his defense. The defense is gonna probably get them at least 6 points by itself. What he can't afford to do is turn the ball over. And the Chiefs, Chris Jones, them is gonna be coming after CJ. And see that this is one of those teams that's heavily set. They're gonna have to be able to run the ball and take whatever the Chiefs defense get him. Don't turn the ball over, because what happens is, I don't care how good your defense is, if they out there on the field too much, they get tired. And Patrick Mahomes, if he out there on the field, he gonna have them jokers. If he get the opportunity, he had them jokers run all around the field. I think that the Texans defense will do what they got to do to put the pressure on Mahomes, but CJ cannot turn the ball over, and he has to take what the Chiefs defense get him.
I agree with you 100% with everything that you just said. CJ has to protect that ball at all costs. And the last quarterback that thought that he could have that Houston defense running all over the field, chasing their tails, ended up getting himself in a situation.
Like the brakes beat off for him.
Exactly. And that last quarterback we talked about is the defending MVP, Grist favorite guy.
I just call, he ain't my MVP. I just watch football. Don't nobody want to listen to me until it happened. I just know I know the politics of the game. I knew
No, but in all seriousness, Josh Allen took that approach and it cost him. Even though Patrick Mahomes can take that approach, Patrick Mahomes does have a history with this Houston defense. He knows how tough this Houston defense can be. He knows how aggressive this Houston defense can be as well, that they can generate turnovers, that you can't really take the chances that you can against certain defenses against this defense, because they have that sideline to sideline speed that can cover a great amount of distance in a short amount of time, where you believe you have a window to throw a pass, but it gets picked off. And he's not going to take those types of chances. He's going to either get rid of the ball or eat the ball this past weekend. And for the Houston Texans to win this game, their path is through the defense leading the way. The defense making more big plays than the offense creates big plays. The defense is going to have to not only score a touchdown, but create multiple turnovers, kill multiple drives, keep Mahomes on the sideline, and possibly an injury or two.
Because Troy said he would never again disrespect the Texans.
He will never disrespect the Texans again.
He said he not disrespecting the Texans or the Bears no longer.
Okay.
Just his Raiders.
Just his Raiders. Man, I cannot wait to these games. All 4 of these games are playoff games, regardless of whether or not these teams are comfortably locked in like the Bears and the Packers are, or teams like the Lions and the Cowboys playing their way in, or the Texans and these very same Chiefs that could get sent bye-bye, because the Chiefs are definitely not making the playoffs with 7 losses. I don't believe Houston makes it with 6 losses, because you still have the Colts with 4. You still have the Jaguars that are pressing to get the division title themselves, sitting at 7-5. So this is a must-needed victory, must-needed win for both of these teams and all of these teams that are playing. And I cannot wait to see them unfold. Cannot wait to see the SEC title game. I cannot wait to see the Big Ten title game for the first time in a long time to see whether or not either one of these two undefeated Big Ten teams are going to be a serious threat in the college football playoffs or be a one and done, depending on who that opponent could be in the second round if they get that first round bye. Great show tonight, Griff. A lot of key things were discussed about teams, games, and futures for teams. You got any party shots for the audience before?
Hey man, just want to say again, as always, man, welcome. Thank you to the Roundtable family for showing up. The commentary, as always, is always welcome. Glad to see my boy Troy back, man. We missed you last week, Troy. It's not a show without Troy, man. I don't know. I mean, I love everybody else, man, but Troy, you keep us going, man. I appreciate you being back and always having the support. I hope everybody have a great rest of their week, and I see everybody back here on Friday.
Yes, sir. Don't get Troy too much props, man. Don't get his head big.
Yeah, but that's my guy, man. Even though he a Raiders fan and a Carolina Panthers fan and a Gamecock fan, you know, at the end of the day, man, Troy's a good dude, man.
His mama loves
He's solid.
Hey, he's solid. Yeah.
Troy is
Yes, sir, man. I echo those very same sentiments and comments. Thank you all for the engagement tonight in the chat. Thank you for the continued support. As we say at some point throughout the show, each and every week, please continue to share the content. Share it with those that are sports enthusiasts that may be looking for a different perspective from real fans who really know the ins and outs of the game, both on the collegiate level and on the NFL level, and also provide real-time engagement from those who are watching the show. So thank you all for that continued support. We got some big games this upcoming weekend, starting off with the Cowboys on Thursday night. Their season could take a serious hit if they get this L, or it could propel them to possibly catching the Philadelphia Eagles and overtaking them and winning the division as they did 2 years ago, and then be a one-and-done team in the playoffs. But that's conversation for future discussions. But we were talking about it more at a later date and time. And then we have
supposed to be closed, man. We supposed to be closing the show out. That's what you do.
I am closing the show out. And then the big games this weekend in college football. If your team is playing in any college football game of any significance this weekend, whether it be a conference game that we talked about, the Big Ten or the SEC, or other conference games that we did not talk about tonight, but we'll talk about on Friday night. Hopefully your team does well. We'll see everybody on Friday. Y'all have a beautiful and blessed week. Do something nice for yourselves. Drink water. Hydrate, even though that the weather is changing. Dress appropriately. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Do something nice for yourselves and your family. And given the opportunity, please do something nice for someone that you may not even know, because it just might be the best thing that happens to them on that particular day. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all be breezy.
2 for 2 today is Carolina. On this crucial 4th down, Young, McMillan, got it!